Jaya Rama Rama Kunjabihari Gopi Janava Nasoranandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Śrīnataji Jaya Bhagavatam Jaya Śrīnataji Jaya Giri Govinda Jaya Gauranikaya Jaya Gauranikaya Jaya Gauranikaya Jaya Gauranikaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Vishnu-Padma Sabri-Vrari-Kṣatriya Skodra Sattva-Shishimara Divine Grace, founder of ISKCON, Abhacharya Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Grant Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki, their most merciful Lordship Shri Radhikunda Bihari Ki, Shri Jagannath, Shri Baladev Mai Subhadra Ki, Shri Nathaji, Shri Balagopal Ki, Shri Gauritai Ki, Nitai Go Prema. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the Lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Nam Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Todayam Udiraye Astaprayashu Bhadreshu
Kṣatriya Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Yam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhagavati Naistiki.
Bhagavati Naistiki.
Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, Text 42. Kāchit Tvam Nagamo Gamyam Kāchit Tvam Nagamo Gamyam Gamyam Vasat Kritam Striyam Gamyam Vasat Kritam Striyam Parajito Vata Bhavam Parajito Vata Bhavam Nato Mer Nasamai Pati Natamar Nasamai Pati Kachitvan Nagamo Gamyam Kachitvam Nagamo Gamyam Gamyam Vasat Kritam Sriyam Gamyam Vasat Kritam Sriyam Parajito Vata Bhavam Parajito Vata Bhavam Notamer Nasamayapati Notamer Nasamayapati Kachitvam Nagamo Gamyam Gamyam Vasat Kritam Sriyam Parajito Vata Bhavam Notamar Nasamayapati Kachitvam Nagamo Gamyam Gamyam Vasat Kritam Sriyam Parajito Vata Bhavam Notamar Nasamayapati Kachit, whether, Tvam, yourself, Na, not, Agama, did contact, Agamyam, impeccable, impeachable, quite different, Gamyam, acceptable, Va, either, Asatkritam, improperly treated, Striyam, a woman, Parajita, defeated by, Va, either, Ata, after all, Bhavam, your good self, Na, nor, Uttamai, by superior power, Na, not, Asamai, by equals, Pati, on the road. Kachitvam Nagamo Gamyam Gamyam Vasat Kritam Striyam Parijito Vata Bhavan Notamar Nasamai Pati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace of I Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Bhakti-Vinod Swami Srila Prabhupada. Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character? Or have you not properly treated a deserving woman? Or have you been defeated on the way by someone who is inferior or equal to you? Please repeat. Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character?
Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character?
Or have you not properly treated a deserving woman?
Or have you not properly treated a deserving woman?
Or have you been defeated on the way?
Or have you been defeated on the way?
by someone who is inferior or equal to you?
By someone who is inferior or equal to you?
Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character, or have you not properly treated a deserving woman? Or have you been defeated on the way by someone who is inferior or equal to you? Purport. But it appears from this verse that during the time of the Pandavas, free contact between man and woman was allowed in certain conditions only. The higher caste men, namely the Brahmins and Kṣatriyas, could accept a woman of the Vaishya or the Sudra community, but a man from the lower caste could not contact a woman of the higher caste. Even a Kṣatriya could not contact a woman of the Brahmin caste. The wife of a Brahmin is considered one of the 7 mothers, namely one's own mother, the wife of the spiritual master or teacher, the wife of a Brahmin, the wife of a king, the cow, the nurse, and the earth. Such contact between man and woman was known as Uttama and Adama. Contact of a Brahmin with a Kṣatriya woman is Uttama. But the contact of a Kṣatriya with a Brahmin woman is Adama, and therefore condemned. A woman approaching a man for contact should never be refused. But at the same time, the discretion as above mentioned may be also considered. Bhima was approached by Hidimbi from a community lower than the Sudras. And Yayati refused to marry the daughter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam because Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, being a Brahmin, Vyasadeva, a Brahmin, was called to beget Pandu, and Dhritarashtra. Satyavati belonged to a family of fishermen, but Parasara, a great Brahmin, begot in her Vyasadeva. So there are so many examples of contacts with women, but in all cases, the contacts were not abominable, nor were the results of such contacts bad. Contact between man and woman is natural, but that also must be carried out under regulative principles, so that social consecration may not be disturbed, or unwanted, worthless population be increased for the unrest of the world. It is abominable for a Kṣatriya to be defeated by one who is inferior in strength or equal in strength. If one is defeated at all, he should be defeated by someone superior power. Arjuna was defeated by Bhishma-Deva, and Lord Krishna saved him from the danger. This was not an insult for Arjuna, because Bhishma-Deva was far superior to Arjuna in all ways, namely age, respect, and strength. But Karna was equal to Arjuna, and therefore Arjuna was in crisis when fighting with Karna. It was felt by Arjuna, and therefore Karna was killed, even by crooked means. Such are the engagements of the Kṣatriyas, and Maharaj Yudhisthira inquired from his brother whether anything undesirable happened on the way home from Dwarka. Om Jnana Tamandasya Granjana Shalakaya Jakshun Malitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we know the look on his face is that he's found out that Krishna is no longer on the planet. And such a disturbance this will cause for future generations. See, Krishna brings with him all knowledge. And so, as well, before he appears established within the Brahminical community that's going to receive him are those perfected human beings that have already well been established in Brahminical qualities and understandings of the etiquette of Brahminical culture. But there is some mention here of mixing between men and women of different castes. And so See, when you have a laboring class of people who are considering their jobs to be ultimately the all in all. Love their jobs, there's no means of food, there's no sustenance, and this is in their minds. So when a person who is in that mindset gives birth to a child, the manner of his consciousness very much affects what kind of a child he will give birth to. The matter of consciousness he's having while he's giving his seed to his wife. Now see, in Brahminical culture, if children are brought up from the very young ages of even 5 years old until they reach up to 21 years old, sex life is not even something their mind conceives of. They've been under the shelter of the bona fide guru since the age of 5 years old. They were in the protection of their parents until that time. So they have no external exposure. Just like Lord Buddha, right, was protected by his father and he remained in the palace. He never even knew death was such a thing until he went out in the city. And so similarly, this Brahminical culture is superior to all other forms of culture, taking in the necessity of training from the very earliest, most stages of the child's development. Because it is by the strength of this mindset that the whole of society can be put into order. And so with the upper classes of people not having so much pressure upon them in their lifestyles, in their etiquettes, in their mindsets then, even in their union with one another, as a more secure kind of consciousness that everything is fine in the world and we have a host and a place of comfort where our loved ones are going to be protected in the future, in this kind of mindset. And then they bring in a child into the world that is brought up with that kind of mindset, many of which eventually develop entitlement. You know what I mean by entitlement? Everything is owed to me. I am great. Everybody should serve me. So these things come in with false ego. It's introduced almost immediately at birth. From birth, the mother is proud of her offspring, her child, and he's exposed to the community. Oh, what a lovely child you have. Celebrate it for a few weeks, few months, and then the year celebration comes. All this is giving over to the child the precepts of his importance, of the significance of his being brought into the world, which also enforces his self-ego, the idea of the self. And then as the child is rewarded and punished according to the laws of the parents, then he grows up with the perspective of the parents. So if the perspective of the parents is such that they view the breaking of the regulative principles, having alcohol on the weekends, having a party, throwing a party here and there, going to visit, going to the bar here, going to the casino there, and all these things, as rewards, then the children who were brought up in those circumstances gain the value system same way of the parents. So this is how this said to be a caste system in Vedic society in its original presentations was pretty much set in stone. If you were born a Sudra, you were said to be a Sudra for the rest of your life. And this carried on in India for thousands, if not even millions of years. But we see in the presentation being made by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is revealing how that these various groups of people have taken to various forms of worship. And he is accrediting each various form with different values according to the modes of energy that are dominating the consciousness of the participants. So, in the end then, he reveals what is transcendental to all of that. And so these societal norms are there in Vedic society for society to be generally directed in a positive way and in a direction. But for the future, for all the living beings on the planet, which Kali Yuga brings the necessity of, because we are all born in a lower manner from the lowest opening in the body. And as you see, if you will study Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that there are living entities born from the mouth, born from the nose, born from the eyes, born from the ears. And these are all more elevated births. But for the most part, society is totally ignorant of all these things because they are entrapped by the illusion of sex life, the illusion of the attraction of each other's bodies. And all these bodies we are in are of a fallen nature. We don't know what beauty is in this. Srila Prabhupada compares the beauty pageants of this world and the winners of such as frogs compared to the beauty of the living entities that are in the heavenly planets. Now that's the heavenly planet, so we're not even talking about the spiritual world. So, see, and this reveals to us as well how encapsulated we are by the illusion of the physical body, which is mucus, pus, and blood. And it takes on different features according to a person's preferences, their eating habits, basically, but also their consciousness, because ultimately, in the spiritual world, they don't get fatter or thinner. The magnificence is manifested by the nature of the soul. It's the soul's glory that is manifested in the spiritual world. And we have no means of manifesting that glory here, unless Krishna allows it to happen, what we see very rarely. Because those most elevated souls, in order to be able to retain their revered positions in the universe, they, to a great extent, remain incognito. Nobody even knows who they are. And this keeps us protected from the false ego, because once we start thinking we're somebody great, then this is cause of fall down. We are, at best, like bamboo is a kind of grass, right? Among the grass, bamboo, wow, bamboo's a giant. But compared to the forest trees, the bamboo is not a very big tree. So similarly like that, in this we are becoming strong, gaining strongholds in our faith, in our rooting in Krishna consciousness, philosophy, and teachings. But among the elevated souls in the universe, those who have been given the opportunity to roam freely throughout the entire universe, we're very, very small pieces of bamboo, you know. But we have the potential to become great souls by simply applying these precepts that we would otherwise have to engage in as normal human beings anyway. Everybody eats and sleeps and defends. We mate in marriage, but we don't have to mate. Not everybody's always mating. So these four activities are engaged in by anyone anyways. Why not learn the most perfect way of engaging in the normal activities of human beings? And that's what Bhagavatam does. That's what God, Krishna, the person of Krishna, does. There's a movie that was, I guess, recently made about the person that Christians are calling their savior. What was it called? Coming back or something? The return?
Left Behind.
What is it?
Left Behind.
Oh, Left Behind. Wow. See, I didn't see the movie or anything, but I saw interviews being done with the actor, who is fighting with what I'm sure many actors have to fight with, because when they are themselves performing at their best, they are encapsulating the virtues or the qualities of another human being. They're trying to be someone who they actually are not. Yeah.
There's actually a play called Who Am I This Time?
Wow. See, that sounds interesting. Because, see, in effect, we actually do that in our many forms of human beings that we go through in the cycle. One cycle we're a carpenter, the next cycle we're a butcher, the next cycle we're a baker, and, candlestick maker. So the thing is now that we have come in contact with these most valuable teaching and instructions and life manuals for all human beings to follow. We can see potentially we have the ability to be able to recognize what is advanced spiritually. So this interview that was going on, anyways, getting back to this interview with this person that was playing this part, he was seeing that in Hollywood, you can play the parts of actors, but with the person of one who is leading a religion, if you're actually portraying yourself as a follower of faith in a religion, you are looked down upon and blacklisted in Hollywood circles. So when he started confessing his faith outside of his part of being an actor in interviews and like that, then he was no longer wanted by the society, because they're all built around making life a party, making this life all there is. And so it would seem, by one who reasons in their mind, if we have the ability to gain access to as much wealth as we can accumulate, which these actors do, then what would be left to do for one who has no concept or idea in their mind of morality or of virtuous activities in the world? What is there to do but party, having fun? Because, see, this experience of what the soul itself is, that when we become knowledgeable of that, it produces ecstasy and a bliss that is beyond our ability to reason with these minds that we have. And so its natural state of existence is blissfulness. And so out here in the world, just even working at any normal job, because of the way the environment is set up, you have to sweat. You have to sweat to make a living. You have to sweat to earn. All these people with money, they're worried every moment who's going to steal their money from them, who likes them, or who's in the audience that might have a gun, who's going to, sabotage them or trick them into this thing. They're always constantly worrying. The more you have, the more you worry about it, So here is one perspective, an objective perspective on having nothing in this world. You have nothing to fear about losing. If you don't have anything, what is there to fear about losing? The only thing you can have is something coming your way in the future. You have nothing, so what is there? Everything that you come in contact with is now something that is like a new presentation for you to experience. See, life looked at from one who is removed from the entire governmental systems of the world. This is the kind of freedom we're talking about in Krishna consciousness. This is the kind of freedom that enables souls to make decisions based on their experience of reality by their association with God, the supreme person who is in knowledge of what every single person in the entire planet, in the entire universe, to speak, needs for them to become more perfect than where they are right now, and as a step towards ultimately gaining an environmental set of circumstances after this life that we are longing for in our pursuits of happiness here. Hollywood, what they call Disneyland, Barnum and Bailey Circus, and all these things. We're looking for happiness and pleasure and fun. And Krishna gives us a way to be able to experience that above and beyond that offered by these things in the world, which is this congregational singing and dancing together with Him in His presence, calling Him to be in our presence with us. And that is what will bring to us that happiness we are longing for, to know by the consciousness that comes from these activities, engaging in this dancing and singing. We know by the different kind of experience we have in our minds that are freed from fears and doubts and worries and pains and griefs. I have pains through the day, but I have no fears of the future, And pains may come, pains may go, but the experience is for the perfection of the soul, and I always keep that in remembrance, because no matter what we have to go through this life, it's going to bring us to a state of perfection, that we are in this right process to get free from the effects of every material activity we've engaged in for millions and millions of lifetimes. Lifetimes means more than millions of years. Most lifetimes take more than a year. Some take less than a year. But we've been in it a long time. So we calculate the years we've been around the sun this time. But we've been around the sun in other planetary systems. We've been around the sun in lower, middle, and upper planetary systems. And we will not find the happiness we're looking for until we get totally out of the universe itself. And that we need help for. We need a means of transportation for. Krishna says, sign up on his roster book. Take part in his devotional acts every day in his service that will provide you a freedom from the knocks, the daily knocks you get from the material energy, if you're in the material energy, by engaging in these activities that are free from the results of material energy, and giving you the experience of the happiness experience by engaging in that which is freeing the soul from the effects of karma. People out there are promoting, when you analyze what promoting the gaining of wealth in this world does, right? People have found out a way to accumulate wealth. So in the initial stages of accumulating that wealth, one has to admit they want the wealth, right? So this immediate stage of wanting wealth is a state of wantonness. Whereas in comparison, the state of chanting is the realization of the supreme, all-owning, all-powerful, almighty source of everything, sharing association with you in this body, in this self-same body. That has been the director, the guide, the initiator of every act that has ever been done in all the universes that there are, Krishna. He's the motivator, he's the mover, he's the energy, he's the reason we should be alive, we should be living. Because of Krishna, we have life. So we don't know, we're indebted. See, and actually, that is developed by the false ego, which is, everything is owed to me, is just the opposite of that which which is just the opposite of the consciousness developed by the soul who knows that this is a great privilege I have, this physical body now, to live in a form now that has the ability to enable me to get free from the entire time I've spent and the accumulation of karma I have built up all the way to this point in millions and millions of lifetimes. And now I have the ability to get totally free from that. And it's by simple application of truths that allow us to live a step above the ignorance that is prevailing in society. We know principles of keeping the body clean. We rinse the mouth out after every meal. Wash the hand before taking foods. When we have a plate that we've taken with our mouth, immediately when you touch your mouth with your hands, your whole body is considered unclean. So when we cook, we have full shower when we cook. But if you have to pass while you're cooking, if you just pass water, you wash your hands again. But if you have to pass, it's considered totally unclean of the body when you have to pass everything, totally passing stool. So then, if you can't take a complete shower, then we have what is called achman, full achman, which is the same value of taking a complete shower, which is touching the body, 13 different places in the body, naming 13 different specific names of Krishna who protect all the chakras and the openings of the body. And so when you're engaging yourself in activities related to Krishna's service, by the recitation of Krishna's name, he brings you a protection that you can't get from hired guards at the FBI and the CIA combined. Can't give you the protection Krishna has over you from Maya's illusion. Because the FBI and the CIA, they don't have any protection themselves from Maya. They're themselves overwhelmed by Maya. Their paychecks prove it. What they do with them proves the overcoming power of Maya. Getting back to this actor's realization, though, of how he was treated by Hollywood for actually living out someone who is his hero, irregardless of faith, right? Let's put faith aside. Let's just say you consider some person in history a great hero. I mean, in effect, this one particular person now is the cause for people to say it's the year 2026, right? So what is the fault of a human being choosing someone that they believe is their hero, of living a life of that nature? And yet, They will make him out to be an enemy of society, not having any ability anymore to portray as an actor his profession. So this is the kind of thing that's going on underhandedly in society, behind the scenes, by people who are totally controlled by their minds' false ego concepts of reality and what will be best for them to make advancement in society. So by stepping on other people, this concept exists in the quote-unquote professional world. They step on one another to get to the top. In Krishna consciousness, we lift others up. We come down. These great spiritual masters of old time, of the ancients, they are called Paramahamsas. They are on a level of love of God far above society. But in order to be able to bring society to where society is aiming towards without knowing which way to aim, those great Paramahamsas, they come down to the people's level to communicate, to bring them up. And this is what society needs to be lifted, because to get up, they're making stories against one another, claiming everybody else is false, claiming everybody else is a thief, everybody else is a crook but me. I'm the best in the world. And these are the claims being made by politicians, by people who have beautiful, attractive looks. We're all being taught this in school, isn't it? And this is all aggrandizement of the false ego. And it is all for the breaking down of the human being, to fall down. When a human being lifts himself up, puts his own pride in his own abilities, believes himself to be, everybody owes him a future. The world owes him everything. This is all cause for fall down. And we are all believing that to be the greatest aim of life. This is all what the educational systems are portraying, all what the businesses of life are portraying. You are number one. You got to think of yourself as the greatest. What did Muhammad Ali say? I am the greatest. And then he became Muhammad Ali. He said that when he was Cassius Clay. And then he became Muhammad Ali. Then he stopped saying that, and after that, he started practicing Islam. All of these quote-unquote faiths of mankind that have been given to mankind for the benefit of mankind is to give according to time and circumstance, according to places that people are in, for them to be able to develop a better consciousness than what they had from the place they were coming from. And in some cases, in some lands, people are so, how can you say, tribal and ready to kill. They're ready to kill. They need a different kind of guidance than people who are afraid of their shadow. And there are both extremes on both sides. And the two fight against each other. And they both pray to the same power that be. Same powers that be. And Krishna is left answering both sides. And they're both arguing over which one is closer to Krishna. Who knows God better? I know God's ways. No, I know God's ways. So let's fight about it. This is what all these wars are going on. When God has given literatures that lead us to be able to develop pure love for Him And in so doing that, then we develop love for one another. It's easy to love the perfect one. But how that love manifests in this world reveals what our concept of God is. Is God the destroyer? He takes that form, and he has a name in that form. Lord Shiva is the destroyer. So if we take that destroying force of God as our force that we serve, then in effect we're serving Lord Shiva's power. This is service to the demigods, service to a form of Krishna who provides a reward at the end of life. You want to serve God in these certain capacities, you get the rewards his prophets are telling you. You want to go to heaven? You can get, in some cases, to the highest planet in this universe. Krishna is giving us a way to get out of the universe entirely and go back to his home. So he's given us an invitation. That's what these literatures are. An invitation to the eternal. Once again, to return home. Back to Godhead. Not something new for us, but it seems new. But it's as we apply the precepts. It's like I was realizing this morning. When I first came to the movement, when everybody's coming to the morning program, I didn't have to actually, I have a really difficult time memorizing verses, you know. But when everybody is singing this song together in the morning, all you got to do is come for a solid week or two, and it's in your mind. You don't have to try to memorize it. It just happens. Same thing with the kṣatriya. We're repeating it every day. It's 8 verses, 8-verse Mangalartik prayers. But they become like very easy to remember because you're just doing them every day. Vacho Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam. The Gurukulis used to recite this every morning, the Ishopanishad. So when those that have those concepts, principles of human beings that have eternal meanings and eternal foundation, substance that the soul itself is made of, for us to fill our minds with, then our experience of life becomes that consciousness that we are having, that we have created by that which we have put in our minds. So as we study every day, as we're being instructed to develop this mood of surrender, this mood of Krishna, you are the Supreme Person. I surrender to your powers. Just please engage me in your loving devotional service. We develop this mentality automatically. We don't have to run looking for happiness. The happiness comes with the satisfaction of knowing that we spent our life on that which will give us eternal benefit. Eternal benefit. That's what Krishna is promising. And we have to take full advantage of it all day long. 24 hours a day, we have full opportunity to hit the target in every second by chanting. All day long we can sing. If the boss doesn't let you sing out loud, your mind can be filled with the eternal vibration of Krishna's names. And free yourself from the troubling thoughts that the mind would allow itself to be subdued by if you didn't take control and chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Now I've used up my voice, all I have left is my mind. Any comments, any questions, any realizations?
Very nice last talk. I really need to hear that.
Thank you very much. Krishna. Jai. Grant Shrimadbhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.